1988, I heard the chief of the Cancer and Palliative Care Unit present a lecture at the Royal Festival Hall in London for nurses, and he talked about the terrible suffering in countries like India. And I had been to India in '84. I was here when Mrs. Gandhi was assassinated, just as a visitor, and I thought that I would really like to go to India. So I volunteered my services. So in 1988, I took myself to the WHO in Geneva, in Switzerland, and I said to Dr. Jones Ward that I'd be happy to devote my services. Now, very interestingly, at that time, in August 1988, Dr. Mohan Bhatia, amazing doctor from GCRI, happened to be in Switzerland. And we met at the airport and talked about, his vision for palliative care and what he was doing at Basna. And he'd had an American doctor there, Dr. Pam Sutton, and he wanted to do something for the nurses. So that was August, September 1988, and in January 1989, I first came to India with the World Health Organization they asked me to do a needs assessment to see what the need was for palliative care in India. Subsequently, I've written several articles in various journals, and I can give you references for those, maybe even give you the articles. So that was in 1989, and I wrote a report for the WHO, and I identified what the need was, which basically was education of doctors and nurses in palliative care, and the provision of services, and to have palliative care recognised as an important aspect of medical care. But also at that time in particular, it was very important because morphine wasn't available. And so we had to get morphine made available, and so I worked with the WHO and with the Health Ministry. Obviously they had more, David Joranson, who was from the WHO Collaborating Centre in America, which looks at the whole issue of opioid availability. He came over and did a lot of work here. So I was basically like a coordinator in many ways. And then I came in 1990 under my own money and time, and I was in between two jobs, and that's when I gave a 10-minute presentation about hospice care, again, in Ahmedabad. So Ahmedabad has been a very, very important part of my life, and Dr. Mohan Bhatia in particular, and the gorgeous nurses, Anila Ben, Gauri Ben, Suraj Ben, Vimla Ben, and I'll need to remember the other one. There were 5 particular nurses that were really, really great.
Right. How much awareness of palliative care in India?
Well, the awareness is much better than it was. When I came here, it was basically, there was a hospice in Mumbai, and Dr. Bhatia was doing his amazing work here in Ahmedabad. It wasn't until that was in 1989 when I came here. In 1994, the Indian Association of Palliative Care was created. We had the first meeting in Varanasi, and that now is 25 years. It's the 25th anniversary this year. And of course, the awareness is now, whereas there were only 2 or 3 centres in '89, there's now literally hundreds. And there is an awareness, and there's awareness among the public. But there are also pockets, several pockets, which is why Dr. Rajgopal has asked me to come and do sensitization work, where they've never heard of palliative care. They don't. Some places don't have morphine. Some places don't have anybody trained in palliative care. Some people have never heard of it. They don't know what it is. So there's still a long way to go. And in my country, it's been going for 51 years. It's been recognised. And since 1987, there's a 4-year training for doctors. It's recognised as a discipline in the same way that cardiac surgery is recognised. It's seen as it's not just an add-on in the UK, it's a separate discipline. We have professors of palliative medicine and palliative nursing. And so we're very fortunate. And right from the word go, in 1967, when the first hospice was built, Dame Cicely had a research centre, an education centre, inpatient facility, and then came a community facility. So we've been very fortunate. And of course our land is only 60 million, and yours is over 1 billion. So it's much easier for us. We ought, in the UK, we should have it absolutely everywhere, but we actually don't. There are pockets.
But in India, what is the future need of the palliative care?
Well, it's going to increase. Yes, because it isn't just the cancer, as you've rightly said. And I'm pleased to hear what the professor said earlier on, and she's absolutely right. And I was fortunate in my own personal training that every patient was seen as important. Whatever was wrong with them. I mean, my first ward was a medical ward, and as a student nurse of 18, I can remember talking to a patient, and I was standing by her, and the ward sister came and took the stool from under the bed and said, "Nurse Burn, always sit down when you're talking to the patients." And that was 48 years ago. She recognised that. A ward sister, and I was 18 years old. She was the in charge. She didn't say, "Go into the sluice." She, that's why role models are so important. How you behave. If you look at Professor Rajgopal, the way he walks, the way he talks, the way he interacts. He's a role model. He isn't saying one thing and doing another. And that's really important. And there is a long way to go. But I think a lot of it is about truth and about helping families to cope, because mostly they're very afraid of the diagnosis.
Have you negotiated with the Health Ministry of the India for the policy work of the palliative care?
I think Professor Rajgopal has done that. I mean, I worked with the ministry years ago when I was with the WHO in the early 90s, but since then, to be truthful with you, I just concentrate on this because people like Rajgopal and Shree Krishna and others have taken up the challenge, and they're doing it, Rajgopal in particular.
How do you define the palliative care in one word, in one sentence?
Palliative care is total, active care. And the total part is dealing with the physical, social, emotional, and spiritual. And they all overlap. You can't say, "Oh, that's his spiritual pain, we deal with that, we send the priest in." No. Because how we treat a patient affects their spirit. If I talk to you in this way, you will be spiritually diminished. In spirituals means the breath of life. We inspire. When the patient expires in India, you talk about patient expiring, they die. Their spirit leaves them. Spirituals X out, it leaves them. So I think spiritual care is about caring for the very person, not just the religion, whether they follow the mother or Shree Swami Vivekananda or whoever. The spirit is the very essence. When I die, hopefully people remember my spirit of enthusiasm, my spirit of life.
How do you come to know about our institute?
How did I come to know? Dr. Rajgopal asked me to come.
Yeah.
I'm here on a specific visit in 2 weeks to sensitize doctors and nurses about palliative care.
Have you met any patient of palliative care who is taking the treatment of the palliative care in our institute?
In the institute, no, I only arrived last night.
Home basis?
No, I want to come. I'm going to do it this afternoon. But I came last night at 11 o'clock at night. It's too late to see patients. But I have asked Dr. Dinesh if I can see some patients today.
Do you aware about our institute's motives and vision and mission?
I took a picture of it as I came in, and I was if I'd seen it last night, I would have put it up on my pictures because I like to focus on where I am, make it relevant. But I loved hearing that it's about humane care, rational, efficient.
This institute followed since last 9 years.
It's great. So the humane care then, as the other professor said about it, should be every patient, whether they've got a fever, they should have that with whatever. And humane, how we share our humanity starts, I believe, with just the namaste. The God within me bows to the God within you, and immediately we have a rapport. So I said to you, so yes, tell me, what do you want to know? It's not science. Do you see what I'm saying? It's how we use our voices in our eyes, interact, my body language. I'm interested in you, or I'm looking at my mobile phone and actually I'm not very interested in you. What else is it? Our non-verbal communication says more than our words. And is very powerful in how we care for another person's spirit. Because if I shout at you, you will probably cry and you will feel dispirited.
Will you elaborate your experience working in this specific field, palliative care?
Will I elaborate? How do you mean?
Can you just say about what are your work experience in this segment?
Well, I suppose I was very. My grandmother died at home, so I suppose, and I was with her after she died for 3 days. So I think my mother was a great. I didn't know about palliative care when I was a school child, but she helped me not to be afraid of death. That's one thing. Where I did my nurse training, we were taught to respect patients and to care for them and to be compassionate. We had to think about how we spoke to them, and that the patient was the most important person on the ward. So that's my philosophy. And then I remember one of my first patients that I really, on night duty, I was 19 years old and he was a man of 38, I remember his name. He had 2 children and he had a very rare form of liver cancer. He was dying, he was afraid. I can't tell you what I said because it was 48 years ago. But I sat and listened to him in the night. And maybe I prayed with him. I don't know. But a few weeks later he said he was very frightened of dying. A few weeks later his fear had gone. And he asked to see me. And I can't remember the conversation, but he said he wasn't afraid to die. And maybe it was just because I sat and listened. I was a little nurse. Nothing happened. And sometimes, that whole thing of trouble shared is a trouble halved. And I think that whole gift of listening is so important. Because often people come up with their fears. And sometimes as a nurse I've listened and I think, oh my goodness, that's so terrible, what can I do? And then I leave and the patient says, thank you so much, it's really helped. And I'm thinking, but I haven't given any money, I haven't given any advice, I've done nothing. Just I've listened. Because when people are able to talk, while they're talking, they often work out the answers for themselves. That's my experience. Sometimes they want direct answers, but like the man I talked about and not being able to sleep, and just asking him what kept him awake, and it was worry, and then taking him into what his worry was. His worry wasn't going to see his daughter married. So that's his concern, and it's my professional responsibility to listen to that and not to say don't worry, because it shuts the doors. To say, okay, this is a practical issue. Palliative care is active care, so actively I get the daughter involved, actively I get them together, actively I open up the fact, not that he's dying, but I open up the fact she wants to find her husband. That's all I do. It's active care. If I hadn't listened, I couldn't have given active care.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.